Morning, all of you. Am I audible for you?
Yes.
In the last class, we were discussing about the analysis of a common source amplifier with active load, and we have derived all these equations. Kindly revise it, and you need to remember this equation in order to find the cutoff frequency FH. Okay. So we have RGS is equal to RSIC, RGD equal to RSIC into 1 plus GM into RL dash, where RL dash is R01 parallel R02, RCL is RL dash. So after finding RGS, RGD and RCL, what you will do is you will add all those time constants. Time constants is nothing but the product of the resistance and capacitance. So we have three distinct terms and we have added the three terms together to find the tau h. That is the time constant. Then after finding tau h, by making use of this equation, we will find the cutoff frequency fs. So this was a conclusion that we had from the previous class. That is the analysis of a common source amplifier with active load. Please recall the concept of active load. In active load, you will be having three transistors Q1, Q2, Q3. Right? Q1 is an amplifying transistor from which you will take the amplified output. And if you see the transistor Q1, the drain terminal is connected to an active load that will comprise of Q2 and Q3 together. So being those are active devices, I can consider the load as active load. The overall resistance is nothing but the parallel combination of output resistances of Q1 and Q2. That is what is called R01 parallel R02. So this is the overall load resistance RL dash. So by making use of this equation, now we will able to find the cutoff frequency FH. So you need to remember the equations for CS, CG and CD amplifier with active load. Because so now take down this problem. A CMOS CS amplifier, a CMOS CS amplifier as W by L is equal to as W by L is equal to 7.2 micrometer divided by 7.2 micrometer divided by 0.36 micrometer. For all transistors, mu n COX is equal to 387 microampere per volt square. Mu p COX is equal to 86 microampere per volt square. Comma IRF is equal to 100 microampere. VAN dash equal to AN. Okay, N stands for NMOS. VAN dash is equal to 5 volt per micrometer. 5 volt per micrometer. Modulus of VAP dash. P stands for PMOS. It is 6 volt per micrometer. For Q1, CGS is equal to 20 femtofarad. Femto means into 10 to the power minus 15. Okay. CGS is 20 femtofarad. CGD is 5 femtofarad. CL is equal to 25 femtofarad. R sig equal to 10 kilo ohm. Assume that CL includes all the capacitors introduced by Q2 at the output node. Assume that CL includes all the capacitors introduced by Q2 at the output node. Find the cutoff frequency FH using open circuit time constant method. So all the parameters are given to you. You need to find the cutoff frequency FH by using the open circuit time constant method. So for that, what we have to do is we have to remember this particular formulas RGS, RGD, and RCL, and we need to compute tau h, and further we need to find the cutoff frequency. So before that, we will check the questions one by one. So this is the aspect ratio, that is width to length. So width of the MOSFET is 7.2 micrometer, that is channel width, and channel length is 0.36 micrometer. And for all the transistors, Kn dash is same. It is 387 microampere per volt square, right? For NMOS. And for PMOS, it is 86 microampere per volt square. And the reference current is 100 microampere. You know that we are having a current mirror at the load circuit. So whatever the reference current that we have fixed, that will be same as your drain current ID. Because the active load consists of a current mirror circuit, as we have discussed in the previous classes. And this is the early voltage of the N MOSFET. The thing is that this voltage is for per unit micrometer length, or per unit length of the channel. Okay, this early voltage is not the total voltage that we have. This is in fact the voltage that is available per unit length. Okay, so you need to find out the total early voltage by multiplying with the length. Understood? So this is the early voltage for unit length of the channel. So what will be the total voltage? It will be nothing but 5 volt per micrometer into the length of the channel. So what is the length of the channel? 0.36. Similarly, here also we are having the early voltage for the P MOSFET, which is again given for a unit length. And all the three capacitance are given, and signal resistance is also given. And it is assumed that this load resistance, I mean this load capacitance, will include all the capacitances introduced by the Q2. Q2 is your load transistor. So all the junction capacitances inside this Q2 will come under CL. So if CL is 25 femtofarad, it is understood that we have taken all the junction capacitances of Q2 into our consideration. So accordingly, we need to find the value of tau h and further fh. So let us start. So by using these results, first let us find what is RGS. So RGS is RSIC. Already RSIC is given to you. So directly you can write RSIC as 10 kilo ohm. I mean RGS as 10 kilo ohm. So this will be our first result. Now after that, we will find RGD, right? Because we need to find three resistances across the three capacitances. You know the procedure of finding the open circuit time constant, right? We will consider one by one capacitance, and we will look into that particular capacitance, and whatever the resistance we are getting, that is being represented as RGS, RGD, and RCL. So next is we need to find RGD. So write down the equation for RGD. RGD is equal to RGS into 1 plus GM RL dash plus RL dash. Okay, now we need to find. So here we are having plus RL dash. Okay, there is one term missing here. The expression we are having plus RL dash. Okay, please see the derivation of last class. RGD equal to RSIC into 1 plus GM RL dash plus RL dash. So now if you see this equation, which is unknown here, you need to find RL dash, right? And you know the equation for RL dash. RL dash is nothing but R01 parallel R02. Where R01 is the output resistance of the first transistor, which is given by the early voltage by the drain current, VA by ID. Since the first MOSFET Q1 is an NMOS transistor, we can write it as VAN dash by the drain current is same as that of the reference current, because it is a current mirror circuit that we have in the output load circuit. So the equation for small letter R0 is VA by ID. ID is same as that of IREF. So the equation will become VAN by IREF. Now what is VAN? VAN is the total early voltage. The total early voltage is nothing but the product of the voltage into the length, because the voltage that we have in our question is for per unit length. So in order to find the total early voltage, what you need to do is we need to multiply the early voltage with the length of the channel. The parameter 5 is nothing but the voltage per unit length, right? Volt per micrometer as per the question. So to find the total voltage, you need to multiply this volt per micrometer into the length, that is 0.36 micrometer, divided by I reference. It is nothing but your 100 into 10 to the power minus 6 as per the question. Now if you substitute, you will get 18 kilo ohm. Please check. So these are very important. So please pay attention and then solve. So as of now, you got R01. Now coming to R02, because in order to find RL dash, we need R01 and R02. So now we will go with R02. R02 is VPN dash by IREF. Why I'm going for VPN? Because this is the early voltage of, right? Early voltage, it is VAN. Okay, can write it as VAP. It is not VPN, it is VAP. That is early voltage of P MOSFET. VAP, 6 volt per micrometer. VAP by IREF. It is VAP dash by IREF. What is VAP dash? VAP dash is nothing but the voltage into the length of the channel divided by, again IREF will be same, 100 into 10 to the power minus 6, because it's a current mirror circuit. So the drain current of Q1 will be same as that of the drain current of Q2, which is further is equal to the reference current. So ID can be considered as IREF. And why I am multiplying this? Because in your question for P MOSFET, they have given the early voltage as 6 volt per micrometer. So if you want to find the total voltage, what you have to do? You have to multiply that voltage with the length of the channel, that is 0.36. Right? So your answer will be 21.6 kilo ohm. So as of now, you got R01 and R02. This is VAP. Okay, VAP means it is the threshold, I mean the early voltage of P MOSFET, because the second transistor, as you know, it is Q2, that is nothing but your PMOS. Now once you found R01 and R02, now you can take the parallel effect, find the parallel effect of R01 and R02, and finalize your answer for RL dash. That is 9.82 kilo. You know how to find it, right? 18 into 21.6 divided by 18 plus 21.6. So that will be 9.82 kilo ohm. Did you got this answer? Please respond. Have you got this answer?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you see this equation, again, we need to find GM, right? Only then you can find RGD. Previously, I found RL dash. Now I need to find GM so that I can finalize the answer for RGD. And the equation for transconductance GM already we have learned in second module, that is root of 2 Kn dash W by L into ID. So this is the equation for finding the transconductance GM. Kn dash is nothing but mu n into COX. So all the parameters are given in the question, but please see that you need to take the Kn dash of Q2. Okay, Kn dash of Q2, don't confuse, because we are finding the transconductance of NMOS. Okay, so don't take Kn dash of 86 microampere per volt square. You need to take this parameter as Kn dash 387 microampere per volt square. That is our NMOS Q1. Okay, so 2 into in place of Kn dash, you can put 387 into 10 to the power minus 6. W by L is 7.2 by 0.36 given in the question. ID is 100 microampere, so 100 into 10 to the power minus 6. So after that, if you solve, you will get the answer in milliampere per volt. See if you are getting this answer. Your answer will be in ampere per volt, but that will be a very small answer, so you have to convert into milliampere. After substituting, what is the answer that you got for GM?
1.244 into 10 power minus 3.
1.244 into 10 to the power minus 3 means that 10 to the power minus 3 can be considered as milliampere. So your answer will be 1.25 milliampere per volt. Very good. So now you have everything, right? GM and RL dash. Now you can take this equation and find RGD. Take the equation for RGD and find the value of RGD. You know GM, you know RL dash, you know RSIG, everything is known to you. Substitute the parameters and find RGD. So RGD is equal to RSIG is 10 kilo. No need to convert it. Okay, keep it as 10 itself so that your answer will be in kilo ohm only, because GM is in milliampere, right? So no need to convert it, or else you can convert, but again you need to convert your answer in kilo ohm. That's it. So RSIG is 10. So 10 into 1 plus GM is 1.25, RL dash is 9.82 plus 9.82. So your answer will be in kilo ohm. So if you are not converting means your answer will be in kilo ohm. Otherwise your answer you will get in ohms and then you need to convert into kilo ohm. That is by dividing it with 1000. I hope you got the same answer.
Yes, sir.
So now you got two resistances, right? One is RGS and second one is RGD. Now we need to find the third resistance, that is RCL. RCL is equal to RL dash. RCL is equal to RL dash. Already you have found RL dash. So directly you can write the answer for RCL. So RCL is 9.82 kilo. So these are the three results, that is RGS, RGD and RCL. Now based upon these obtained resistances, you can start computing the time constants. You can start computing the time constants. Time constant is nothing but the product of the resistance and capacitance. So Individually, you can find tau GS, tau GD, as well as tau CL, where time constant is the product of the respective resistance and capacitance. So please see if you are getting tau GS as 200 picoseconds, because minus 15 into 3 will become minus 12. So 20 into 10, 200 picoseconds. Similarly, tau GD, tau CL. Please ensure that all the time constants should be in the same unit. Okay. So you will maintain in the same unit, that is picoseconds, because minus 15 into 10 to the power 3 will become minus 12, 10 to the power minus 12. So that is nothing but picoseconds. Time constant unit is picoseconds. So what you're doing is we are multiplying the resistances with the respective capacitances, and you have finalized the three answers. After that, what you will do is you will add the three capacitances. I mean, you will add the three time constants together and find tau h. Tau h is equal to tau gs plus tau gd plus tau cl. Then we will make use of our final equation to find fh, and put your answers in the chat box. The answer for fh, put your answer for fh in chat box. Yes, please. 1159 picoseconds means 1159 into 10 to the power minus 12. So after solving this, you will get a big answer, right? That will be in hertz. Convert that hertz into megahertz and tell me. Yes, Banu Prakash 137.3. Yeah, let me check. Okay, 137.3 megahertz. So this is your cutoff frequency of this particular common source amplifier of given specifications. What's the speciality of this frequency? After this cutoff frequency, your gain will start decreasing. So till 137.3 megahertz, you will get appreciable gain. So you should be careful that your input should be less than this particular frequency, right? Different amplifiers will have different response towards your input frequencies. So that is what is the importance of finding the cutoff frequency. So while giving your input signal to a given amplifier, you should always need your cutoff frequency as a specification, because if you know the cutoff frequency of your amplifier, then you can set your input accordingly. The frequency of the input can be controlled in that way, so that we will get the appreciable gain. Okay, now take down the next topic. Common gate amplifier with active load. Common gate amplifier with active load. So till now we have discussed common source amplifier. Now we have to discuss common gate amplifier and how to find the cutoff frequency for that particular amplifier. Now take down the circuit diagram. Here you can see the gate is grounded. Why? Because gate is common, right? Common gate means gate will be grounded and we will give our input to the source terminal through a source resistance Rs. And we will take the amplified output across the drain terminal, and the drain terminal is connected to the supply voltage VDD through a constant current source capital I. So this is nothing but your active load. How you will set capital I already we have discussed in our previous classes of this particular module. That is, capital I will be generated by using Q2 and Q3, which act as a current mirror circuit. So those two transistors are acting as the active load, and this active load will be connected to the drain terminal with a supply voltage VDD. So this is called as common gate configuration. And one small changes, we have already discussed the body effect in the previous module. So MOSFET, as you know, though it is a 3-terminal device, we have one more terminal which is called as B, body. So normally this body will be tied to the source. But in some cases, that is in common gate configuration with active load, body will not be connected to the source. Instead, body is separately grounded, just like gate. Okay, body will be separately grounded, just like the gate. So we have two voltages, that is across gate and source we are having VGS, and across body and source we are having VBS. So this is the circuit of common gate amplifier with active load. Now let us write the expression of total drain current ID. In the previous analysis and all, we have the drain current equation, that is just GM into VGS. But now, since body effect is considered in this particular circuit, we have one more current component, that is nothing but due to the drain, due to the voltage across the body and source. Initially, we have one single voltage, right? That is across gate and source. But now body is treated as a separate terminal. So we have a voltage across body and source, that is VBS, which will also contribute towards our drain current ID. So the signal current or the AC drain current can be expressed as GM-VGS plus GMB into VBS, where GMB is the transconductance due to the body effect. Already we have discussed, same thing I'm again telling, where GMB is chi into GM. The value of chi will range from 0.1 to 0.2. So in this case, you can see both gate source and body source terminal, they are parallel to each other. Why? Because body is also grounded and gate is also grounded, right? So I can tell body and gate will be the same voltage, right or wrong? Body and gate both are at same voltage, and source is common for both these voltages. So we can say that VGS is equal to VBS. Understood? Why? Because gate and body both are grounded. So they will be sharing common potential, and source will be common to both these voltages. So VGS is equal to VBS. So you can take VGS common, right? So this equation can be written as, if you take VGS common, inside the bracket you will have GM plus GMB. So the expression for ID will be VGS multiplied by GM plus GMB, and this equation we need in order to proceed further. This is the equation for the drain current or the transistor current for the given circuit. Okay, now we are going to derive three parameters. Especially we are focusing on the cutoff frequency by using the open circuit time constant method. But the thing is, in order to find the cutoff frequency, we need to find the input resistance and output resistance. So only we are going for these two parameters initially, and then we will find the cutoff frequency. So side heading input resistance. Understood? Because only after knowing the input resistance and output resistance, we can find the cutoff frequency. So first, let us discuss how we can find the input resistance of this particular common gate amplifier with active load. So side heading input resistance. So to find the input resistance, let us draw the equivalent circuit as shown here, and I have considered a signal voltage at the input terminal, that is at the source terminal, and I am taking the V out from the drain terminal. Please draw the circuit and later I will explain. Done. Now, if you see the circuit, you can see that II is the input current coming from the signal voltage. II is the input current coming from your signal input. And this II is entering to the source node, and it is divided among two components. One is the current I through the transistor, and second one is the current IR0 that is flowing through the output resistance. And you know what is output resistance? It is nothing but the internal resistance between the drain and source. And we have included a load connected at the drain terminal RL. So this II will come out from drain, right? Because the two current I and IR0 will join at drain terminal and it will come out as II. So whatever the current II coming from the signal voltage V6, it will be flowing through RL also. So if you apply Kirchhoff's current law at the node source, right? What is your input current? Incoming current is II and the two outgoing currents are I and IR0. So you can write the equation II is equal to I plus IR0. Let it be equation number 1. Any doubts with respect to equation number 1? Suchit.
No, sir.
Now you can write the equation for I first of all. That is based upon our previous analysis. We already know the equation for the transistor current. That is nothing but your VGS plus GM into GM plus GMB. This is the equation for the signal current flowing through your transistor. So this I can consider as I. But instead of VGS, you will put VI. You can see, right? Between gate and source, what is the voltage that you have? You are having VI. Because gate is at ground voltage, so the potential difference across gate and source will be nothing but the potential at source. What is the potential at source? It is VI. Please understand the difference between VSIG and VI. VSIG is the overall input which is to be amplified, and VI is a voltage or a fractional voltage that is coming across the source terminal and the ground after considering the drop across RS. So VGS can be considered as VI here. So how to write the equation for VI? Equation for I is VI into GM plus GMB. That is the voltage divided by resistance. Resistance is nothing but overall conductance. 1 divided by overall conductance. So the equation for I. What is I? I is the current through the transistor. So please rejoin back. The link will expire soon. So now you got the equation for small letter I. Small letter